Just hold on. Been to places that I'll never go. Seen some faces that I'll never know. I keep dancing, but it's just for show. Whoa. Look up at the sky full of stars. Close my eyes, I only see the dark. Tell myself I wanna seize the night. Alright, and we walk this road together, and I still feel like I'm alone. Just hold on, just hold on, just hold on, just hold on. Together, but I still feel like I'm alone. Just hold on, just hold on, just hold on. And we walk this road forever, and I can never find a home. Just hold on, just hold on, just hold on. Just hold on, just hold on, keep holding on. Just hold on. Can never find a home. Just hold on, just hold on, just hold on, just hold on.
Hello and welcome everyone in the room and on camera, live or whenever you want to watch this video. I'm Eva, I'm product manager for Nextiva Analytics, and today I want to show you what analytics looks like, how it works, and what customers are using it for. So the reason I'm doing this is I got approached by, I think Theo was it, and he told me, we never see the products, and I want to change that. Because you guys are doing amazing work, and you also should see that your products are being used and they're being bought, and not just that, they're being loved by customers. And I think that's a big one. So thanks for all your hard work and thanks for coming, and let me start. So what I'm going to cover today is just explain what is analytics, and you are using analytics as well as our customers are using analytics. What's this? That's mine. I'm sorry. All right, so you are using analytics, our customers are using analytics, and I will show you how we create reports for our customers, so customers can come in and just start using analytics and making decisions. I will also walk through a little more complicated workflow of an analyst, an advanced user. Just a note on that one, those are wireframes. They are not the final design, so this is not a design review. They might not be 100% accurate, but I think you'll get the story that I'm trying to tell. So let's start. Analytics. Anyway, yes, let me fix my clicker. And then, oh, it's not doing anything. Todd. What's that? No, the screensaver came in. Let me just go out of presentation. That fixed it last time. And we present. Here we go. Yay! All right. So all of you, or hopefully all of you, do use analytics in one way or another with your work. We have Jira dashboards that allows us to track our work and how far are we along with the features we are supposed to build. And even more than that, it helps us estimate how long it'll take us to build certain features based on past numbers. And the second one is what I find even more important. It's New Relic. It helps us to look at the status of our systems. Is a system up? Is it going to fail pretty soon? Let's go out, like Jack, go out and fix it and make sure that our customers can continue to use our products. In a similar fashion, our customers, and here I'm using a sales manager and a support manager, as well as the respective agents who do the actual work as examples. They also need to know what's going on, right? It's like, as in voice analytics, call center agents, how many calls did we have today? When is our peak time of calls? And then take actions, like if we get a lot of calls in the afternoon, I want to have more people responding to phones. So they look at metrics, they look at reports, and they take informed action based on those. In the same way that you use your applications to, track your work and make decisions. Now, there's two analytics applications. The first one we launched in 2015. That's voice analytics, also sometimes called standalone analytics. That's the old application just for call reporting. As you can see, the start page gives you aggregate calls, total calls, inbound, outbound calls on a daily basis, and average calls per hour to help you do those daily staffing decisions. Now, this is only calls. So a few years ago, when we started building platform and found, we need more reporting in platform, we decided to build a new platform analytics, or now called Nextiva Analytics, for a reporting for all of platform. Cases, sales, surveys, interactions, and any additional objects and products we might bring into platform, all in one reporting application, integrated right away. That's one of the reasons customers love it, because they buy platform, they create their first case and sales, they go into analytics, it's right there. There's no setup required. And how do we do this on a front-end side? So how do we build these what we call dashboards? So first of all, we need to define what is a dashboard, because there's many dashboards, there's many ideas of people what are dashboards. So what we did, we took a definition of an expert in data visualization, Stephen Few, and we said for us a dashboard is a visual display of the most important information needed to achieve one or more objectives. And these have been consolidated on a single computer screen. Could be with a scroll though. And they can be monitored and understood at one glance. So we can align organization to objectives, track KPIs, etc. What do those dashboards consist of? So we have a couple different items that we put on a dashboard. The first is a metric, right, or a KPI. like cases closed, or in your case, bugs closed last week, the week before. So you can quick the absolute value of a metric very quickly, and you can also see where it's going, because we also provide in a component that we use to display those metrics an increase or decrease with a little arrow. So you know, okay, our total calls have gone up versus last week. They keep going up, so I have to add more people to respond to the phones or start automating responses, etc. So in analytics, these metrics are generated or created by a developer. So there is no metrics creation on a customer level. So they have to take what we give them, which, if you think of our current target customer, they usually have 3 to 5 users in their system. There's no time for them to think about, oh, I want to create additional metrics. So this, giving them what they need without a lot of setup, is exactly what is correct for target customers right now. Yeah, so in the metric can then, as I said earlier, be visualized with a so-called metric tile. And each metric has its own color. So you can easily recognize it all over the dashboard, as you can see in a minute. And they can also be included in a report. So we have a metric, and then we have the next bigger component, a report. Atomic, is that what it's called? Yes. Then we have a report that allows you to view your data on a timeline. So how are things changing over time? And also in relation to other metrics. Or even as dimensions. So I can look at resolved cases, and then I can look at resolved cases broken down a group by users. So and then I can sort it and see, okay, who has resolved the most cases last month or this month? Who is my best support user? And analytics is building those visualizations, and we also build the metrics, and which you can see gives us an almost like unlimited amount of reports and components and items we can put in a dashboard, and consequently, amount of dashboards. So, but that might be a little, dashboard. But given that there's so many options, right, for a customer that I just described, what do I do? I don't know. I don't know what to do with this. Please help me. So for this purpose, we have a dashboard template or dashboard templates. There's still some work in progress. So the plan is to have a lot of dashboards for roles, for products, and for other types of purposes, like I want to track the trend of my metrics over time. As well as dashboards that can be embedded anywhere in the platform. But on top of that, if that's not enough, then we have a little sip of water. If that's not enough, we will have a dashboard builder where users can create their own dashboards using reports they created with using metrics and our components. And we have another type of dashboards, which is called a wallboard. So you might have seen those call center screens in the support center's guide. That's a wallboard. So that allows a manager or a team to track how many calls they had, how many cases they resolved. And they can have different formats. It could be like a cool gamification leaderboard with a ding-ding you see on the sales floor, on the second floor, or just a table that is easy on the eye when you are sitting in a room and staring at a big screen. Those are called wallboards. Now I'm going to go into a few of the templates that we created. I'll start with role-based dashboards. So as we started with a service CRM or support CRM, so a CRM that was targeted for a support manager tracking cases, we have two dashboards called service CRM and support. The difference being support includes calls. So in here you see we actually go across products. So this dashboard includes not just voice metrics coming from our voice backend, but also case metrics coming from CRM. And you can imagine then once we have more products, you have all of them on one screen. And the other piece is just service CRM for customers who have CRM to track, okay, who's my best service rep, what's our resolution time, which is pretty bad in this one, and also what was the worst resolution time so I can investigate what's going on and fix this. So these two come out of the box for any new customer who has CRM and analytics. The second one, and this is in the middle of the two because it's both for sales and for support, interactions. I want to know how many phone calls I'm getting and my users have answered. I want to know which channel they are using. If they only use chat, there's no reason for me to have lots of people on the phone. And here I can see interactions by hour of day, daily interactions by users and channel. So this is our lowest amount of metrics we have to just get something out. But as you can see, we will add a lot more. But even with the few metrics we have here, I was able to create 4 reports already. And the other big piece we released end of last year is sales. So I have a sales performance dashboard. Here as a sales manager, I can see how much did we win, so how much revenue we actually got, how much was quoted, so how much is out there with the client and we're only waiting for their signature, which is a good indication that this will be closed and there's revenue coming up. It helps me to predict. As well as closed one and total, so I want this green one to be bigger than the red one. Who's my best sales rep and how are we doing over time? And now, and this should blow your mind, that's the first dashboard, and it's work in progress, but the first dashboard is not for a manager, but for the actual agent, a sales rep or a support rep. And sorry, I didn't ask you before, Robert, but Robert, how many stars do you see?
I see 4 stars.
Yes. What do you think that means for this customer?
He's pretty happy.
Yeah. So do you think, let's say you would have to call customers to sell them insurances. Would you do that? Would you call them if you had this information?
Yeah.
There you go. So the purpose of this dashboard, what we call customer journey, is to give an agent who receives a phone call from a customer or is planning to call a customer to sell them something, an idea of how happy, satisfied this customer is at this moment. We have this, in this case, on an account level for a whole corporation, but we also have it for an individual contact. So I can plan my call. If everything's red, I need to brace myself to get yelled at. I also want to know what happened before because I can actually click on a red button and see, oh, they called and somebody was really angry with them. It's about an account login that hasn't been worked in a long time. So, and I mean, just imagine you're calling a support center and you're really angry. That person responds and said, oh, Mr. Harris, I'm so sorry. I think I know what's going on. I've already taken action to fix this. I just want to make sure that this is where you're calling. And is there anything else I can do for you? I also wanted to check in from last week. You had this question. Did it get answered, etc. Would you leave those? Would you leave a company like that? Probably not. And it's definitely not Comcast. All right, so, and this is also, it shows you, this is analytics. It's a dashboard that we create and then publish into CRM, and this can be anywhere in the platform. And it can just be one piece, right? So a metric, right, can be anywhere in the platform. A report can be anywhere in your platform, or a whole dashboard. Embedded analytics so that our agents see the right information, the information that helps them make a decision and do their work at that point. We're not quite there yet, but we are on a good way of doing this. Questions so far? Yes, Shrad?
So you talked about the elements. So we talked about metrics and we talked about reports and the dashboard being a conglomeration of those elements.
Yes.
Are those the only 2 basic elements we have in analytics today, or are there more atomic elements?
Okay. Thank you for the question. So just to repeat that you hear it on the stream, Sharad was asking about the elements we can put on a dashboard. And I talked about a metric tile and a chart, and whether these were the only 2 elements we can put in a dashboard. That's correct right now, yes, but we are working on more elements to put on it. It's like a gauge, for example, so you can track how well am I doing in my sales versus my sales target. Yes, and that will be one of the big tasks for analytics front end, building those components so that you, as a product manager in CRM, you can go in there and design your dashboards, create them, and publish them, and share them with the people who will use them. There's also product. Oh, sorry, Todd.
I was asking, so the metric tiles, you showed that relative to something else?
Yes.
That time period, is that hard-coded? Is that something we get to select? What is it?
Yes, so Todd is asking about the percentage calculation. So what do we compare the value to get to the percentage? There's different things, and we need to do some UI work to make it really intuitive and tell you what you're looking at. So you can put a custom time range in there as the actual time range you look at. You can also say, oh, just the filter I have in the UI, so have the metric, but that's for the value. For the percentage, there's a lot of different options we have. You can do previous period, same days in previous period. So previous period would be yesterday. The same day in previous period would be last Friday. And same in previous month, previous week. So users can track week over week, month over month, year over year. Or compare two custom periods with one another. But we do need to do a better job, and we are working on this to actually show this in that metric tile. Good question, thank you. Yes, so we don't only have role-specific dashboards, we also have product-specific dashboards. So if you just want to track your calls, or you want to track your cases. And we, as this wallboard, as I mentioned, this is the wallboard, so this looks a little prettier and easier to read on a big screen. And we have advanced templates, something that we modeled after voice analytics. Who of you knows trend analysis and voice analytics? Anyone? You? No? All right. Trend analysis, what it does is a very, very simple way of helping our customers predict their call volume or other metrics. We just pick a bunch of metrics, and then analytics does the rest for you. It knows, based on the metrics you select, what to do, what layout to add to the dashboard. And these even interact with one another. So if I have total open cases, and I click total open cases, every other report in that dashboard just shows open cases. Oh, I'll remind you later on too, but I'm not doing a demo today, but you're invited to go into dev and RC or any prod test accounts, not actual customer accounts, and play around with analytics. And any feedback you have, please reach out, because we all have one product and we want to make it awesome. So thank you. Zach, what's up?
Oh, this is the question and answer time? So that would be great. I would love to go into it and play around with it.
Yes.
But from what I know already, there's not like a good set of data to look at. So at least that I'm aware of. So is there, on dev, is there like a real healthy set of like a mock customer that we can go in and look at?
I'm very glad you asked. So I'm not sure if we are allowed to use the demo environment, or we have a demo account. I think there's a sales demo now that has mock data and mocks the data. But the caveat is that mock data is not yet perfectly realistic. So sometimes the individual parts don't add up to the total correctly. But the data will render. Also, we have previews. So if you go into a report builder or a dashboard builder and view all those templates, when you look at a preview or create a report, we show mock data. So you have an idea of what it will look like. But that's a good point. I think dev has quite a little bit, and it has call data for some periods. But
like, it would be good to know like what account. Or is it just any account?
So in dev, it's the agent 0. Dev, and then agent 0, yes. And cases and interactions in sales actually have some good data. Also, you can always go to CRM and create some data. And it will show up right away. Wow. There you go. All right, and we call this trend analysis. Now, I mentioned earlier, Sharad can go in there and create his own dashboards. So as an analytics product manager and an analytics team, we want to enable all of platform to build reports. Their own reports, their own dashboards, and make sure that the personas that they work with, that they build their products for, have end-to-end from problem that they have, data that they enter, to the report. So I call this self-serve analytics, and my goal is that product managers will go into analytics and build a dashboard. So Hannah will do this for surveys, and she has a new use case, she has a new question that was added, a new metric, and she models the dashboard and just publishes it. Right now we just publish in prod. That's a little tricky, and it will affect all existing production customers. So my goal is to build something where I can model. I can even create some mock data, use mock data, And then Sharat would model a dashboard with some metrics that don't exist yet and components that don't exist yet, and we'll build it for him. Does that? And whatever else data we add, maybe at one point you'll be able to do it, but that's far out. But good to know is analytics has job security. You hear that, guys? So we have a lot to do. But that way, we are not being held up by, oh, I need this report. Oh, this chart type has to change. Oh, I need to add this metric there. It's like we enable and empower product teams to do it themselves, even businesses themselves, or further out, partners. They can build it, and they can share it with others. So we are completely out of the business of building reports and dashboards. We just enable them to do it. What's that for a vision? Huh? Good? Yeah, right. Now, how do we build a report? So given that we are currently redesigning what we call the report builder, it's based on existing functionality, but it will look slightly differently. I'm just going to tell you a story of Dave, who wants to build a report. And he's very new, and we will help him. So what you see is work in progress. It's wireframes. It's not the final design, so this is not a review. So if some button doesn't look right or the word isn't right, I hope you'll understand the story at least and how we will solve it. So Dave is a business analyst. And they bought the CM service, so they bought Next2S. And now he needs to present to Jane and Robert about the health of their business. And he wants to check out what's available in Nextiva Analytics, and this is what he does. So he goes into Analytics, and there's a modal that opens up. And it's like, oh, okay, she wants help with the business, so let's see, there's team performance this week, there's top sales reps today, talk time for the last 3 months. These are templates. And these will be templates for reports, the components of a dashboard, as well as whole dashboards. And they will have context. They will tell you what question this dashboard is trying to answer. You have tags, you have filters, so you can look at, oh, the recent ones, the most popular ones. Well, that will come later. But there's all kinds of ways for you to find the report that will answer your question without too much analytical like knowledge, etc. But if you have all of that, you can build your own report. So that way, a new customer goes in there and it's like, oh yeah, I need this, and they're done. The other thing that templates does, which is great for developers, is it limits the amount of queries we have to run, and that will help us consequently with performance, right? Versus customers just do whatever they want, and we have to be fast, and that's hard for us. Now, he says, oh, I want this clicker to work. All right, let me get out of the presentation again and get back in. Ooh. There you go. Yeah, so he picks one of the templates. And again, this is not final. He can just pick one, and then he said, there's different options. So we have different options for reports. One is like you just enter a custom date range because you want last week's cases, or you want open cases on a specific day. We also have something that is called relative time range or auto updating, where you just say, oh, I want last week, or I want this week. And which means you create the report, and then you come back, and it will always adjust to that time range. Also, he's like, I don't want to come back all the time. I know what report I want. And can you just send it to me maybe every Friday? That would be great. Thank you. So he picks that template. He names it. Or he actually looks at the template first. Sorry. So we help you with the preview. And here, Zach, is your data. If you have a preview in the report, it'll show you how it will look like. If you change the chart type, it will adjust. Whatever you select on the right-hand side will then adjust the preview, so you have an idea of how this works. But you could always say, run. Oh, I want to see if there's actual data behind it. That works too. But preview, it makes it much faster for you to build a report. So he says, this template is awesome. I'm going to use it. But I want to configure it. I want to slightly change it. So he renames it to something that is meaningful to him. And then he goes into the report builder. Again, that's not the absolute final design, but these are the options that will be available. So he has the data, he can pick a topic, he wants a CRM report, and given that this is a template, all of this is selected, so he doesn't have to start from scratch, he can just make small changes. Maybe he wants to remove a metric, he wants a different chart type, he wants to add some filters, or he wants to see the whole thing as sales. But the layout is great, but he just wants different metrics. Then he should pick the sales one. But anyway, so you have the topic, and here you can select metrics, and also a way of grouping your data by time. So we have daily, we have weekly, or you just have a total aggregate for a given period. And the layout, it's not rocket science. If you've ever used Google Spreadsheets or Microsoft, they all have these. So we're just trying to, give you the best options or the options the customers actually need. And this one is my favorite because here we can add context. So here we can help the user to pick the right template. And I want to go even further than that. I want to know who the person is. And we have some company profile, for example, that gives us the size of the company. It gives us the industry of a company. So nothing prevents us from rendering relevant templates. So I'm not going to give you an automotive dashboard if you are an insurance person. Or you just ask a question, and we said, oh, these 2 reports will answer your question. Like, I don't know if any one of you has used Google Analytics Intelligence. They actually have natural language-based search. Yeah, and this will help us do this by just adding context that is searchable. Yeah, so he's pretty happy with that. Makes the adjustments, publishes the report, and then this is the actual run report with the real data, and then there's different options like copy, add to dashboard, edit, plus we'll add schedule. And then he said, oh wow, this is awesome, so I can schedule it. Again, that's work in progress, we're getting there. But I can just pick different options. So I want to have it sent to me on a Friday morning, which means if that's the only report he needs, that he's done, he schedules it. And then he doesn't have to come back to analytics, which is also good for performance because we can pre-run the report and send it to him, and it looks like, ooh, it's already preloaded. Yeah, he also wants to send a copy to Jane, his manager. He thinks, oh, well, then I don't have to present. She can also already prepare for it. And she just picks Jane from the list. So the initial version will just have any SSO user, but eventually all email recipients, or any email you want to input there. And then he looks through a lot more templates, and you see that's our template gallery. So we're going to turn the list view into those boxes with images. So you can preview. You can see a little more information there. And then, actually, Friday morning, the report comes, and Jane gets an email from Nextiva with a little message. Dave created a report for you. I hope you enjoy it. But she actually doesn't want to receive that every day. She wants Dave to do the work, so she unsubscribes. That should be possible as well. But Dave still gets it every day. And every Friday. And what happens, he just clicks on a link, and he goes to analytics. We might ask him to log in if he's already logged in, and he sees the report. It's pre-run. It's an instant load. It's not like multiple seconds, etc. We also eventually want to put it in the email embedded, but we'll get there. So that's the whole piece of Dave has a request from his manager. Dave is using Next2S, and analytics helps him to do his job and do his job better. And answer his manager's questions on a weekly basis. And that's all I have for the live stream. We're going to go to Q&A. So Kiev, if you actually helped working on this, thank you so much. It's an awesome product, and we'll go far with this. And everyone else, see you.
Staring at the stars in the back of my car. Trying to figure out just who we are. Catching moments on our phones, taking pictures, call it home.
Making words out of our favorite songs, our favorite songs. We can stay up all night. Yeah, we'll show them we were right. The city is ours for life. Will you take my hand tonight? We can stay up all night. Yeah, we'll show them we were right. Will you take my hand tonight? Will you take my hand tonight? Yeah, we'll show them we were right. Will you take my hand tonight? We can stay up all night. Yeah, we'll show them we were right. Will you take my hand tonight? Will you take my hand tonight? Wearing cheap perfume, smoking the rain. I make you laugh, trying to heal the pain. Now we're stuck in hotels, missing home. Getting fucked up on our own. Trying to find the place where we belong, where we belong. We can stay young together. We can go on forever. We can tell them that we just don't care. Run through the street and you flick your hair. We can fall like a feather. We can get lost whenever. We can talk till the morning, dream without a warning, you and I. We can stay up all night. Yeah, we'll show them we were right. The city is ours for life. Will you take my hand tonight? We can stay up all night. Yeah, we'll show them we were right. Will you take my hand tonight? Will you take my hand tonight? We can stay young together. We can go on forever. We can tell them that we just don't care. Run through the street and you flick your hair. We can fall like a feather. We can get lost whenever. We can talk till the morning, dream without a warning, you and I. Will you take my hand tonight? Yeah. Will you take my hand tonight? Will you take my? We can stay up all night. Yeah, we'll show them we were right. The city is ours for life. Will you take my hand tonight? We can stay up all night. Yeah, we'll show them we were right. Will you take my hand tonight? Will you take my hand tonight? My hand tonight. My hand tonight. My hand tonight. My hand tonight.
Somebody